All around, there are other people who've simply stood and watched and stared glumly and dumbly for 2 hours and more.
Stephen, thank you. And we're coming up to the 1 o'clock news now. But before we do, let's briefly look back on the life of Diana, Princess of Wales. Her marriage to Prince Charles in 1981 brought glamour to the royal family, but as their relationship deteriorated, she became an increasingly unhappy figure. The couple divorced in August of last year. Diana Frances Spencer was born a commoner, though with strong royal connections. Her family were living on the Queen's estate at Sandringham, where her father, a future Earl Spencer, had rented Park House. Yet her privileged childhood was an insecure one. She was 6 when her sisters went away to school and her parents decided to split up. The children became pawns in a bitter custody dispute. Lady Diana was sent to boarding school, eventually attending Westheath Public School in Kent. Here she excelled at sport, particularly swimming. Lady Diana's naturally shy manner hid a wry sense of humour and an easy way with people. Children were especially charmed by her. A regular Pied Piper, said one member of her family. She worked in London, first as a nanny, occasionally as a cook, and then as an assistant at the Young England kindergarten in Knightsbridge.
I wanted to teach children, and they said, why not come along? So I first started off doing afternoons, and then I took over the mornings and did whole days. But I only worked 3 days a week at kindergarten, and the other 2 I looked after American baby boy.
Her parents had divorced, and there was a new Countess Spencer, daughter of the romantic novelist Barbara Cartland. But soon it was Diana who was to become the celebrated member of the family. Rumours spread that her friendship with the Prince of Wales was blossoming into something more serious. Press and television besieged her at every turn. The palace tried in vain to play down speculation. And on the 24th of February 1981, the engagement became official. The wedding took place at St. Paul's on a perfect July day. Millions of television viewers around the world were dazzled by the event. Diana was just 20. And so the royal family welcomed a newcomer to its midst. It was the love story that brought crowds onto the streets again. They came to see the Queen, of course, and the Prince, but most of all, they came to see her. But the seemingly perfect fairy tale was destined not to have a storybook ending. From the moment their relationship had begun, doubts had been expressed over the long-term prospects of a marriage between two people who appeared to have little in common and whose age gap was nearly 13 years. Even by the end of their honeymoon, Diana had developed the eating disorder bulimia and was feeling confused and neglected by Charles. Within a year of her marriage, she gave birth to a son, William. William became the first male heir to go to kindergarten. From the time of her dazzling appearance on her first public engagement with her then husband-to-be, Diana's wardrobe became a continual focus of attention. The publication of the book Diana, Her True Story by Andrew Morton blew the lid off the whole story. The book, based on interviews with some of the princess's closest friends and written with the tacit approval of the princess herself, confirmed that her relationship with the Prince of Wales was cold and distant. It told of half-hearted suicide attempts by the princess during the early years of the marriage, and of her obsession with the belief that Charles continued to love a woman he'd fallen for years before, Camilla Parker Bowles. The prince later confirmed that he and Camilla had had an extramarital affair. Charles and Diana officially separated in December that year.
It is announced from Buckingham Palace that, with regret, the Prince and Princess of Wales have decided to separate. Their Royal Highnesses have no plans to divorce, and their constitutional positions are unaffected.
Despite the ensuing furore, public affection for the Princess of Wales remained strong. She had chosen to accept a public role at the hard end of charity work. she was troubled by the problems faced by young people. Here she set the royal seal of approval on a television campaign designed to beat the drugs menace. She urged employers, on behalf of the charity Turning Point, to accept a moral responsibility for their workforce in helping them combat the cause and effects of drug and alcohol addiction.
We must remember then that the majority of Turning Point's clients come from ordinary communities. Very few of them resemble a stereotype junkie or drunk.
The plight of suffering children was a cause close to her heart. She was a regular welcome visitor to the Great Ormond Street Hospital for Sick Children in London and was patron of several children's charities. While her husband concentrated on the philosophy and practices of the modern world, Diana homed in on the individual. Abroad too, Diana was proud to publicise the plight of the unfortunate and the rejected. On a visit to Indonesia in 1989, she was praised for publicly shaking hands with lepers, dispelling widely held myths about the disease. Her contributions, as in a revealing speech about those with eating disorders, were often informed by her own experiences.
From early childhood, many had felt they were expected to be perfect, but didn't feel they had the right to express their true feelings to those around them. Feelings of guilt, of self-revulsion and low personal esteem, creating in them a compulsion to dissolve like a disprin and disappear.
The Princess of Wales began by bringing a breath of fresh air and a measure of glamour into the House of Windsor. But she became a sad figure to many as the story of her failed marriage unravelled. Her critics blamed her for helping to strip the monarchy of some of the mystique so important for its survival. But the Princess of Wales' unflagging support for the sick and disadvantaged earned her continued respect, and to the end she remained a figure of public fascination and affection.
The Princess of Wales killed in a car crash this morning. In a few minutes, Peter Sissons will be here with the 1 o'clock news, but for now, from me, goodbye.
This is BBC Television, and now we join John Ketley in the Weather Centre.
Hello again. Well, it's been a wet day so far over a large part of the country, all due to this area of low pressure, which is continuing its way northwards. It'll be well clear of the country by lunchtime tomorrow, but then it's a run of sunshine and showers for the rest of Monday. Now, it's been a really colourful radar scene over the past few hours. We can see some heavy storms crossing Wales through southwest England, and now across the Western Midlands. Here's some of the stormiest weather, and it's all moving northwards, with the odd shower also breaking out across in more eastern parts during the rest of the afternoon. That rain band continuing its way northwards across the rest of Scotland during daylight hours. Tonight, most of the rain will be in the north, with a few showers down these western coasts, and temperatures holding up at 13 as the wind continues to blow. Tomorrow, not too bad across southeastern parts of Britain. Not too many showers around here, but some heavy ones in the west. Still quite blustery winds too. A wet start for the northern half of Scotland with some thunder, but then things cheering up from the south. Another band of rain coming in during Tuesday and Wednesday, quite windy weather too, and it's going to be rather slow moving across central and then eastern parts during the middle part of the week. A nice day in the east of Scotland and through many parts of eastern England during Tuesday, but the sunshine will disappear eventually. We'll find this band of wet weather, heavy rain too, moving in across western then central parts of the country during Tuesday, and then loitering on the eastern side of Scotland and England for the middle of the week. Elsewhere, sunshine and showers returning, and pretty windy weather too, with possible gales up in the northwestern quarter of the country. And then it's sunshine and showers really for Thursday and Friday. Most people catching some showers, and some of them will be heavy and possibly quite prolonged. That's it from me.
Normal programmes have been suspended for the moment. This means that this afternoon's edition of EastEnders has been postponed, and we hope to show that next Sunday. We'll bring you details of other changes to our programmes as soon as possible. This is BBC Television. Now the 1 o'clock news with Peter Sissons.
This is BBC Television from London. Diana, Princess of Wales, has died after a car crash in Paris. She was taken to hospital in the early hours of the morning. Surgeons tried for 2 hours to save her life, but she died at 3 o'clock British time. Normal programmes on BBC Television have been suspended while we bring you the latest developments. This is BBC Television from London. Diana, Princess of Wales, has died after a car crash in Paris. She was taken to hospital in the early hours of the morning. Surgeons tried for 2 hours to save her life, but she died at 3 o'clock British time. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said the Queen and the Prince of Wales are deeply shocked and distressed by this terrible news. Normal programmes on BBC Television have been suspended while we bring you the latest developments. Prince Charles is to fly to Paris later today to accompany the body of Diana, Princess of Wales, back to Britain.